Positioning in CSS. Now, positioning is one of the hardest thing to explain in CSS. So if you watch this video and you don't understand, just watch it again, and practice and try to do it yourself over and over, and you will get it. But don't expect it to be easy, because this right here is definitely not easy. So let's get started. So as usual, we have that single website called .html. And we're using live server. So let me kind of create boxes here. You'll get what this is later. So let's say boom. We have 2 box, 3 box. Let's just give them an IDs called box 1. We have another ID right here called CID called box 2. Another ID here called box 3. Great. Then I'm gonna select the div themselves. So select the div. So select the div and then make the width 7m and the height 7m, and then they're right there. Make the color of the text. Actually, I want to make it. You know what? Let's keep it black. Now let's do that. Discrete IDs. So we have box 1. We have a background color of the box. This color. We have box 2 here and box 3. Let's change that to box 2, box 3. This one is going to be violet blue, and right here this was going to be coral. Save. Right, I'm gonna make this green. I don't know if you could see that. Whoa, no, that's not green. Cool. So now we have those 3 boxes. Now I can make the color white here. Color becomes white. I want to increase the font. Actually, I want to do text align center. Then I want to go vertical alignment center. Up. Don't want to calculate anything. Not working. Okay. Never mind. That's not what we're covering today. Okay. Cool. So then we just need margin of like 10 pixels. Boom. But right now I want it to be horizontal. So right now it's block element. I want to make it inline element. Look how small that is. It completely ignored my width and height. I mean, that is what inline elements do. But I still want a block. So I could use inline plus block. I mean, I don't know about you, but that looks great. I want to increase the font size a little bit to 2M. Whoa, maybe 1.5M. 1.2M? Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, cool. So this is what we're gonna work with. So there are 5 different values that you can set the position. So boom, let's try this. Let's try the comment. So we have static position, we have relative position, we have absolute position, we have fixed, and my favorite, sticky. And then after you set the position of the element, then you can set, something called top, right, let's just do bottom, right, and left. And that's actually all we're going to be discussing. Okay, cool. So let me give this a border, because we're going to be working with this 1 pixel solid, and I want to do red. Actually make it 2 pixels. Nice. So that's the box we're going to be working with. Cool. So now let's basically just start here and work our way out. So in here, in the second box, I want to say position static. Nothing happens because the default is static. So if you make it static, it's like it was already static. That I just didn't need to do that. I just wasted your time. Sorry about that. So the next one is relative. But relative, nothing happens too, except now you can set this. So actually I want to do the static, and then if I set, like, let's say the tab 20em, see, nothing happens because it's the default. But if I make it relative, now actually I want to make it pixels. Now it moved 20 pixels from the tab to the bottom from its original location. So its original location was like right there. It moved 20 pixels that way. That's why if I say like 50 pixels, now you see it better. So it leaves behind a ghost trail of where it was, and it moves a certain unit from its ghost location relative to itself. So if I say, for example, right, and I give another 50 pixels, now it moved, you're adding to the right, so it's moving to the left. It moved 50 pixels left from its original location, and it uses the corner, so it uses that corner. So from that corner right there, it moved 50 pixels this way and 50 pixels this way. And that is what basically, that's what relative does. And I will need a paragraphs here, and let me just say, my friend, I'm a text here, so great. Then I need like a ton of text here, so I'm just gonna keep, nice, we have a ton of text. Now you see, actually I want to move 30 here. Now it moved from its original location, but it left behind a ghost. So see, the space is still empty, and it can overlap to anything near it. So you could use like an image that are on top of each other to make it like look great. But that's what relative does, relative to its location. Let's go to the second, and then you could do like left to move the other way. So you can move this way, this way, this way, or that way. You can also use negative numbers. So if I say negative, it would move the opposite to where it was. If I say the negative, you would move the negative to up. So you get the idea. And you should practice with that too. Okay, so that's relative. Let's get into absolute. So if I just change that position absolute, and let's see what happens. Save. Whoa, what just happened? Cat, why did it go? And wait, did this just take its place? Okay. Too many things happening at the same time. So let's take a deep breath. Ooh, that scared the hell out of me. So let me do position very slowly this time. And what was the absolute? Okay, save. Boom, number 3 is gone. Wait, we didn't touch number 3. 3 is here. What just happened to 3? And here's the idea that you should think of the web page as 2 layers. So we have a layer 1 and an invisible layer on top of it. So the number 3 is just there, but number 2 moved to the second tab, invisible layer, and since they have the same width and height, it's on top of it right now. So that's why you can see. So it left its position in the page, which means its space was available, and number 3 took the space. So if I actually make number 3 width, like now you see, if I increase the width and height of number 3, now you see it's on top of number 3. So basically absolutes and fixed, we'll get to that. These two take the element outside of its normal space, and they make that space available for whatever element comes after it. So number 2 was taken outside of the page, or think of the first layer. So number 2 was taken outside of the first layer. Number 3 filled because this space was available, and then number 2 was painted on top of this. So that's why it's on top of the of number 3. You can get the idea. That's what I was saying when I was saying it's hard to explain. Okay, so here's the thing it is. So remember relative moved to in relation to its position, the position where it was before. Now absolute, if you moves the location to that, I gotta write it down because this is okay. So relative moves in relation to its ghost space, right? We already did that. We already discussed that. That was the first one we discussed it, because the second one, because the first one was like generic, basically. That was just the default, right? Now the second one, now we're at absolute. So absolute moves in relation to its nearest positioned element. And actually write this down, like if you take the note, I think that would be great. Static default doesn't move anywhere. And I hope you can see this because otherwise it would be somewhat weird. So this is static, this is the default, it doesn't move anywhere. Relative moves in relation to its ghost local space. Let's see, keeps the space. So it keeps its space and it just moves. This one doesn't keep space. Just move like that. So it doesn't move. Basically, it doesn't keep the space. So it goes to the second layer, and then it moves in relation. We'll need that. I don't need this right now. So it moves in relation to its nearest. I want to say element, and then just move that. There we go. In relation to its nearest element. So what does nearest positioned element mean? That's maybe what you're asking. And right now, if we just leave it like this, then it's the HTML tag. It is here. It's the HTML. It's basically the page. So now, if we move, let's say we move bottom 0 pixels from the bottom, and then scroll all the way up. Now you see it went to the bottom of the page, so it's moving in relation to the HTML in the HTML, so in relation to basically that visible page right now. And you can, of course, scroll with it. You can scroll with relative too, so it scrolls with the page. So that's what the nearest means. If I say, for example, let's see, where do we have it? Here. So let's say if I say relative, you see the bottom stays the same for relative, because it's the bottom of its current location, which is just the location. But absolute moves in that. Now, the question is, can we change the nearest position element? So if we don't have any nearest position element, it is just the page, it's the visible. But if we have, which we will add it here, then it will move in relation to that. So let's create, let's give it a parent. And nearest, I mean, when I say nearest position, I mean like the parent of the element. So for example, the other one, it doesn't move in relation to this one because this is a sibling, right? In relation to the nearest parent. Maybe I have nearest parent. There we go. Oh, I will fix it because it's this div. Okay, so it's the nearest parent. So the nearest parent that is positioned is just the page. So let me give an ID, this one called parent div. So take that. Then I will need to create here parent div and make a display. It's already a block. So actually I just need to give a background color. When it's do orange. The parent is so small compared to the other ones. So now we need to increase the width, make it auto. So take whatever space you need, the height, take whatever space you need. Cool. So now we see the parent. Great. But if you actually look at this, I actually want to make the parent width 100%. just, I just wanted to take the whole thing, so let's just make it 90. Great. So now you see, like right now the box is still as it was before, so nothing changed except we added one more box. So it doesn't actually consider the static, which is the default. It doesn't consider that as a positioned element, which is kind of, what are you talking about, right? So if I say position is, what is it, static, it doesn't care. It's like, hey, that's the default. I already knew that. I don't need your help with this. So now we have to choose one of the rest. And the best we could choose is just relative. If I save this, now it went to the bottom of the parent. So now you get it, right? Before, the nearest positioned element was the page, so it went to the bottom of the page. Now the nearest positioned element is this parent, like the orange box, and it went to the bottom of the orange. To demonstrate that, I actually want to increase the height to kind of see it better. So I want to make the height like 60% of the view height. And view height is the height of the view you could see. So 60% of this would be here. Now you see it's at the bottom. And if I say, I'm going to say not here, but in here, in the box 2, I could say, for example, left 0 pixels. And now it went to the bottom of the left of that. If I remove this one, comment out, if I save it, now you see it went to the page. So that's what it means, the nearest parent positioned element. And it doesn't keep this space. Okay, that was a lot, but I hope you get it. So now we are gonna discuss, so we are not actually gonna need the parent anymore, because we don't need the parent, because we are all grown up. Trying to make a joke, man, trying to have fun here. Okay, so and then we need to remove this, and then I need to remove this. Actually, I want to just comment out. Woo, we are back. Nice. Okay, great. So now we did absolute. That was hassle, but we get through, So now let's do the next one, fixed. Okay, so let me just change that. So this is when weird things happen, like you move your eye and boom. So let me make it fixed. Let me save this. Okay, so now we know what happens. It's behind this. So if I uncomment this, oh cool, so it's wait, that's a new one. So fixed is like absolute because it actually moves to the second layer, as we were talking about. I'm saying the first is this one, and then the second is this like invisible on top of it. But fixed actually fixes the element in position, so it's not moving right now. So that's what fixed does. So let's see. So actually, I'm just gonna copy that. So fixed, boom. So we have fixed here. So fixed, what it does is moves in relation to page and fixes in place. And it also doesn't keep space. It's a weird thing to say, doesn't keep space. I don't know, but you get the idea, right? It doesn't keep the space. So like the other one, this one, for example, keeps the space, but this one doesn't keep the space. Okay, and then you can stick it to anywhere. So let's go to a bottom of 0. So bottom of 0 pixels. If I save that, now we see it's the bottom of the page, and I want to say right of 0 pixels, and it sticks to there. So right now it's not gonna move, it's just there, so you can understand, you might need something that just sticks to no matter what the user does, and you can always click on that. And I mean that is very useful. It's not like, this is what annoys you too, right? Remember the last time you were on a website and you came across the paywall, whatever, they use fixed, because what they do is they make the right like 50%. They make it 50 of the view width, and they make the tab, they make the tab also 50%, like 50 of view height. And if you actually save this, it's right here. And now there's no way you cannot read behind it, right? That's why they use ads. Like a lot of ads use fixed property. But I'm gonna show you a trick. Don't misuse displays. If you go to inspect and you select, then you can, here's the position. So you could actually say position is static, the default. You can say relative, or you can just say display none, which deletes it. Hey, but you didn't learn that from me. Okay. But anyway, so this is what fixer does. You can fix an element to a specific location, and on the second layer, on the tab layer. So that is fixed. So fix it. It's easy. Last one. We are almost done, ladies and gentlemen. So let me go to our happy place. This is our happy place, huh? This is it. This is okay, cool. So now let's do position, sticky, save. Nothing happened. Can I scroll? I can scroll. So it's not like it's not fixed to a place. Is it like, and the space? Okay, so it keeps the space. You know, this one didn't take the space. Okay. So what does actually sticker do? Now here's where we're gonna need another box to display to kind of use. So I need a box 4 after this paragraph. Let's call it box 4. And boom, boom, boom. And then you change. Come on, give me a really nice one here. Hey, dark blue. I like dark blue. We make this 4, and then we are a dark blue. So now we have, actually it needs to be 4, not 3. Okay, cool. So now we added one more box right here. But as you can, actually I'm gonna copy this too because we need to be able to scroll more. So we need more paragraphs. Okay, so you see nothing happened. It's just there, so it keeps the space, which is great. Now the really nice thing about stick is now you can stick to a location where you want it to stop. So we already set sticky. Now if I say top 1 pixel, now look what happens. Wait, I'm giving the information to that. Now I need that. I need the information in box 4. So if I scroll, see what happens. It's like, so right now it's just normal, right? Once it hits that, it becomes fixed. So all of us, so see right now it's not it's in this space, right? It keeps the space. It's not of attacking anything. But once you hit this, now all of a sudden it sticks to the location. So you can understand how you can have your header here. So if you actually make this 100%, like 90%, let's make this 90%. So you could have, right? You could have your header, and then you could have some ads or whatever. And then once you scroll all the way up, this one stays in place. Then you just scroll over it. So that is what the sticky does. So that's how you use the sticky. Except to one little problem, and then you can stick to anywhere you want, right? You can stick it to, I just said top 0, but you could say top, I don't know, like 20. Now 20 pixels before you hit the top, that's where it would stop. Or you could do, like, you get the idea, right? it's just you. So let's give it 1 here. Say, so it's sticky. See, moves in relation to page, but fixes in place where you selected. And finally something that keeps the space. That's, yeah, we just did it. That's all of it. I hope you understand. one more thing about sticky. Okay, it's not a lot, it's just one thing. Sticky is like one of the latest positions they added, so it's not fully supported in all browsers. So Chrome, like all the modern browsers, support, and Internet Explorer doesn't. And if you use Internet Explorer, go back to dark ages. Well, you get the idea, right? So right now Safari actually needs something else. So instead of just sticky, Safari needs to be WebKit. So it's like a WebKit sticky, and then that would be for Safari. So if I just say okay, command, so Safari. If I save this, right? So the problem is it doesn't work for Chrome. So you have to be like this. Stick. If I save this, so now you have the normal one, which is gonna work for Firefox, for Safari, for a lot of browsers, and not Safari, but like a ton of browsers. And then when a person is using Safari and this is not recognized, then you can just use this. So you can keep both of them like that. But that is all about positions. I know that was the longest lecture we have had so far. We may have longer in the future, I don't know. But I hope you get it, and watch this video as many times as you would like and practice. Please try to copy kind of code along as I'm doing, so you can do your own little experimentations. See you in the next video. Bye bye.